That's what I like to hear. Welcome to SFM Ponies. For those of you in the audience, how many of you don't know what this is and you're just here? And you are. Okay, so SFM Ponies are the 3D ponies that you see on the internet sometimes. And we do those things. So right now we're just going to play an intro video to give you, for those that don't know, what it is and what they look like from our works. Yeah. Full screens.
Whoa, look at that.
Whoa, whoa. Go back, go back, go back.
At least they buy technical issues.
No, it works.
Professionalism.
My laptop's the cheapest one on the market.
Professionalism. 100%.
There is audio. Or it should be starting up. There we go. Isn't that pretty?
Keyframes.
Oh, actually,
Heck yeah.
on the updated version. So,
We're good. Thank you. We're going to go down the line and say who we are. So I'll start. I'm Adam the Amazing 64, and as you saw up there, I did the Pop It Don't Drop It Pony version of an Angry Sock Puppets TF2 video, and the Source Filmmaker Fallout Radio Play Episode 1, Part 1. Yeah. You're all too kind.
I'm Argodaemon. I did the Twi-Dash video from last Valentine's. The ones you saw there with the Wonderbolt's initiation and Destiny, Apple Dash. I can't remember anymore.
I'm Tohino. I made Pony in the Box, Paper Derp, one of the many September videos. Yeah.
I'm Beard. Oh, we got to share? Oh, so kind. You're not getting it back. You're not getting it back, just to let you know. I'm BeardedDoomGuy. I'm the one of the 3 3D modelers, giving that Tohino's one and Maggie's one. I'm the one that did the models for Adam the Amazing's Pop and Drop It video, as you currently just seen, and some of the others.
They're totally awesome, dude. So fun to work with.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm Aggie, or the fourth Aggie, but I call myself Aggie now because the fourth is too long to add, I guess. As you may have seen, yeah, I know. But I specialize in a hard surface modeling, detailed stuff like the DJ controller you saw. That's a super high poly model we got working in SFM, and I do other things as well. So.
All right. So.
Make sure it's on.
Wait, it's on? Oh wait, now it's on.
Okay, we good.
Technical difficulties again. Blame the staff. Blame the staff. Blame them.
All right. So before this is going to be a Q&A session, but before that, we got some basic questions just to get out of the way. So, what is SFM? It's an animating program released by Valve back in 2012, but it was available earlier. If you were to dig through the TF2 files, so like animators such as Schwigen were doing TF2 in the old UI of SFM, and they were absolutely fantastic. I'm going to ask through the panel, how did you get into SFM, and why ponies of all things when there's so many different resources you could use? Oh, okay. True. Who asked it answers it, yeah. So I got into it because I was doing Gmod before then, Dark Times. And I was messing around with the pony models and having a lot of fun with them. And when Source Filmmaker came out, I'm like, oh my god, this is way easier than Gmod. And it's not as time consuming for me because I was just getting used to it really quickly. So I was playing with the ponies a lot, and I was liking them just because I love the show so much. So yeah, for that question.
I started watching the show, when did I start watching the show? It's been about 2 years, and I didn't do anything for the longest time, but then I started reading some of the fictions and looking at some of the pictures, and this community has so many creative people, and it felt like I was stealing. And so I wanted to try to build something myself. But technically what actually got me to SFM is this guy. He made some just amazing animations, and I was like, I want to try that too. I just didn't think I'd make anything of it, and I found out I'm not too bad at it. So I started a year from last March with my first attempts at 3D animation.
I started making posters back in Gmod when the models were still new and stuff like this. And then I got into the beta of SFM, and I just thought, why not try it out? And since then I've been using SFM. That's it.
Well, mine's much like Adam's. I started out in Gmod, couldn't really make pictures for worth anything, then decided to take a little adventurous walk towards some other things, and found that 3D modeling was a whole lot better and more in a higher demand in the pony community. So I decided to do it, and then after a while, Gmod crashed on me. He's like, oh, now how am I going to test out these models I just made? Then, so I don't know who told me, he's like, you can use Source Filmmaker. First, it was like rough, like I couldn't really understand it. Kind of met up with some of you guys, told me the basics of it. And from out there, it just went uphill. Everything just worked out fine.
I've been a 3D modeler since 2006, first in Blender and Maya, and I guess that's before ponies were really a thing, a generation for it. In 2011, when I became a Brony through Fallout Equestria, I tried to do, I know, right? I tried to do a lot of modeling, try to actually make 3D ponies, but I'm not very good at organic modeling, which is basically making characters. So I was kind of bummed out. And then when SFM came along and all the Gmod ponies were around, like, hey, there it is. And also, because Maya is a lot more complicated to animate in, SFM's not, I found it a lot more accessible for me to go out there and learn animation that way. So that's how I got into SFM in 2012. Maya Master Race.
Get on my level, you filthy scrub. Blender.
So yeah, we were just talking about Blender, Maya, and
in a blender.
So we were just talking about Blender, Maya, 3ds Max, as someone said over there. So what other programs do we use per person? Like, which programs are you using aside from SFM for like post-productive work and all that? Because I like to use Sony Vegas for putting clips together and fixing up some audio issues, making the colors look much better than what SFM is dealing out as well. So what other programs do you guys use outside of that?
I have the Adobe Creative Suite, and it has way more power and complexity than I could even ever deal with. But it adds a lot of professional quality to it. I mean, SFM is great, but its final renders aren't always the greatest, and it's amazing what just a little touch-up can do. So I use Photoshop, After Effects, and Audacity for audio editing. I think that's about it. So.
Yeah, I'm using Blender for my animations. Like, I make the animations in Blender and then export them into SFM, because it's much easier to make animations in Blender, for me at least. And I also make models in Blender that I then compile and import into SFM. And for video editing, I use Sony Vegas, like a really old version, but yeah.
Yeah, I just make 3D models in Blender most of the half the time. Besides UV wrapping, unwrapping them with UV, editing that in like the newest version of Photoshop. Past that, nothing else. Otherwise, you consider wad making accessible with ponies. Past that, nothing else.
Yeah, like I said, I use Maya, but I also use Photoshop to edit textures that I need to make for my UV. UVs are just how the textures lay on the model. But I also use things like 3D Coat, other things where you actually paint on the model itself. It's more natural to do like a 2D painting and try to match it up with the 3D stuff. But I also have done Premiere Pro for some of my videos, but I don't do a lot of video work myself, so that's all I use.
Yeah. No models.
What does vinyl use?
Bass Cannon.
Oh yeah, about that. Oh, thought himself some about that one. I figured out fully how to make a bass cannon model.
I'm hyped.
Time to.
Oh man.
Try making the real thing. Yeah, a couple hydraulics, a wooden box.
3D
Actually get an
printers.
actual speaker.
3D printers
Yeah,
are good.
Oh, gotta get some wheels.
Oh, we don't want to break the model now, do we? Yeah.
Time to invest in a 3D printer.
So we got some of the basic questions down, but we can start some Q&A going on if you got any specifics you want to ask. Someone's going to come down with the mic. Just raise your hand, I guess.
And we are going to cut the Q&A like about
Raise
10
your
minutes
hands,
short
come on.
because I got something I'm showing.
Yep.
Especially if you like Fallout.
Let's see. I saw this person's hand up first in the white shirt. What do you have to ask, good sir?
White shirt.
It's actually a question about the Fallout you were just talking about. Are you guys going to be showing the first episode of Fallout?
Actually, it's been. I started working on it in February, and since then, Adam then got motivated. He made a part of it. Then you saw a little piece of. There's another guy that's making the in-between part. I'm making the end of episode 1. Another guy's working on a part of episode 2. I don't have any plans for making more, but there just seems to be people just throwing these out. And the audio made by the Equestria Broadcasting Company, which that guy at the end is a part of, is just beautifully done. And it's nice that I don't have to worry about audio. But yeah, as far as right now, I think it's just kind of scattered what we're making pieces of it. But I think most of the times people just like to see characters from a fan fiction that's that popular move and have a life and a voice. So even just in pieces.
All right, so let's see. You and the Luna ears?
Blue ear, yeah.
All right.
Dark.
Horse ears.
Let's go back.
Well, first off, I must say, I watched all of your videos, and you all are great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I must just ask, for each of you, what were your inspirations to start these kind of videos and stuff?
like on a per video basis, like where you get the ideas, or did you start in general?
Just start in general.
Okay, we'll start down the line. The first movie that I watched when I was like 4, when I was really starting to, remember things, I was watching Toy Story, and I loved that so much, and I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then, it sinks in like, oh wait, this isn't real though. What do you mean my toys won't come to life?
Mine always did somehow.
But yeah, it was just really cool, and since then I loved cartoons. It's like always watching them. I'm like, I want to do that someday. So now I'm making them for the community. It's really fun. It's easier than drawing. I can't draw. I can make a pony. I can push ponies to move.
I've always liked creating. I love creating, but I'm a horrible artist. I can't even draw a circle. And so having a medium that, I've always liked photography. I've always loved, I originally did a lot of Gmod, where it was importing models and figuring out how to do pictures. And so when I started using SFM, it was something that was just another step, another way to express myself. And I love experimenting, I love playing around, and I love making things that I want to watch. And I'm glad that everybody else likes watching them too. So.
Same as them, I like to create things, and I love 3D animated movies. So I thought to myself, why couldn't I just make one myself? So I just started, and yeah. That's about it.
Me, personally, like 3D models and stuff, I always got inspired by Pixar's movies. Because again, who doesn't love those movies? It's like you're always growing up thinking, those are really good movies. I want to make one like that. But then you come to the realization that you have to go through so many years in college, understand the technology of 3D graphics and stuff. Best to start early, right before you go to college.
Yep.
Yeah, past that.
Well, doesn't mean you can't try anyway.
Never gonna stop you. Yeah, just follow your dreams.
On that note, actually, I started in 2003 when I was a co-captain of a robotics team, and we're designing a robot and building robots, and I couldn't figure out how to do it in drawing, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go load up 3ds Max or something and build it. And we actually built a robot and made it work in the program, and then built it itself and run competitions. So I found my talent. I found that, oh, I can build stuff. I can work in this 3D space and build things, and I just developed on to, well, I love 3D movies, but I just want to make things. I enjoy what I do. I'll spend 4 to 8 hours at a time just sitting there, not doing anything else, because I love doing it.
Do what you love.
Okay,
Yep.
let's see. The person holding the Rainbow Dash head, the manly Rainbow Dash. That's pretty awesome.
All eyes on
The
you.
severed head of Rainbow Dash. Magical. I want that person's number and his name and
To someone who is extremely new with Source Filmmaker, would you recommend that a beginner animate entirely in the motion builder or try to figure out the graph editor at the same time?
I actually do everything in the motion editor.
And I do everything in the graph editor.
That's how he rolls people.
For those that don't know, there's two different ways to kind of animate. Both have their own positives and negatives. The graph is like just putting keyframes in where the keyframes are exactly what it looks like at the time. Where the motion editor is kind of a more fluid. They're supposed to use together. I'm just stubborn, and so I use the motion editor. But really, it comes down to preference. It's what do you feel like you want to use, and play around with it. Actually, for those that did want to learn, there's a couple places you can actually check for learning. Before even playing with the software, I would actually probably watch some of the tutorials, because you open it up, you're gonna be incredibly confused. And the first one there is the channel for the actual Source Filmmaker channel.
Yeah, from
That's
Valve.
Yeah, from Valve, and they have a bunch of tutorials that they're going to show how to use TF2 models, but it will get you accustomed to the interface. And that's, I think, the most important part. The next guy there is Zachariah Scott.
I just want to ask him, why did he choose that username for YouTube?
I don't want to know either. But he does a lot of other videos, but his tutorials usually done drunk, but they're hilarious and they're really well done. And it's actually where I learned to do particles, do some lighting. I learned a lot of what I do from him. And the last guy's Jim Lynn's. He does a tip of the day. I don't know how he has as much time to do a tip of the day.
Well, it ain't called the tip of the day
anymore.
Well, okay,
it's called the
years
tip of
it
the
still
month.
is.
But he did it for like literally months, and it's.
He took a long break, but recently he came back with a new one. I was excited.
But he does little tips that just cover small little aspects, and they're named well enough that you go through all these dozens of videos.
I go back to them from time to time. They're really helpful when you want to know exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, so if you want to get started, I recommend watching a lot of these and probably starting with pictures and then moving into animation beforehand.
It's not just an animating tool. You can make posters with it. There's a little poster feature, so you just have it set up, and it's like
beautiful works. Like that.
Yeah, like
this
that.
one does
Look at
one
that.
frame.
Beautiful, gorgeous.
She's so
pictures.
happy.
Just like Argodaemons. Just like his. You can try to make his kind of work. It's how gorgeous they are.
Yep. Okay, let's see. You're waving your Luna up. Is that Luna Flesh?
You just love people that are.
Yeah,
really
it's a
good
little
stuff.
one.
Yeah.
All hail the moon. All hail Luna.
Hello. I have quite a bit of experience in Maya with the animation system, and I'm curious. I've never looked into Source Filmmaker, like the comparables between the graph editor, component editor, inverse kinematics. Like what does Source Filmmaker do that Maya doesn't, or vice versa?
It's got a nice user interface. That's.
I can answer it better because I actually use Maya.
Oh yeah, you do.
To be honest with you, Maya is its entire purpose is to animate.
Yeah.
So you're going to get better tools in Maya, but it's also harder. It's not as accessible and not as easy to learn unless you already know how to do it. You can technically go out there and animate SFM Ponies in Maya if you import them in and you do all the stuff, but that's more advanced than going into Source Filmmaker and just doing it in a little more basic format. You can still achieve a lot in Source Filmmaker than as you can in Maya. So if you're doing it in Maya, that's fine, but SFM is a little bit easier to do.
Plus, SFM has a lot of resources available. Everything that's in TF2,
Right.
Team Fortress 2, is available in SFM. So you can load the model within a couple of clicks. You can load a map, load a model, and take a picture.
Yeah. Asset management actually is a lot easier in SFM.
And not just TF2. Recently, they just put all the Portal stuff in there, and there's also Day of Defeat, so you can play around with those as well before you can go searching on the web for new models and sources.
And there's people like these guys that are actually making the custom models. And I know there's been a guy that's for Nutrifin making an entire Fluttershy's cottage and everything in immense detail.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people out there, and it's the modelers that make the animators work. So well, there's a lot of TF2. Obviously, that's a theme that's a little bit differently, but there's just people that are actually making a lot of the better models for us to use.
All right. I saw the white and blue ears point his hand up. All right, I'm gonna stop picking people. You guys can be picking because I just keep picking people.
We like you picking people.
Okay.
It's easier on us.
I understand that the whole SFM thing started because Valve came out with TF2, but what I don't understand is why the seemingly endless crossovers between TF2 and Ponies in some of the videos that you're doing.
Mainly because the TF2 models are already there, and it's just people got used to them quickly, I would say. Also, all the maps that are available with SFM to begin with are from TF2, so it's like, oh, why would I have Kingdom of Heart characters running around Two Fort with ponies? That's kind of crazy. I'd rather watch like a Sonic the Hedgehog OC or something. I don't know.
Plus, the TF2 models have pre-built-in running animations and all these detailed
Yeah.
animations. So being able to throw in a human model running by or something or interacting with is so easy.
And they're also made by professional animators and modelers. They're not just like fan people.
But we
That's
are
why they have
actually
advanced rigs and everything else.
We are professional.
Actual people getting paid. So.
Well, there goes my hopes and
It's not about the money, it's about sending a message.
So yeah, Team Fortress 2, you're going to see a lot of stuff in, but it's the people that are starting out, and I think that it's a great place to start. So I mean, I did a lot of the TF2 maps early on, but then once I started to learn the interface, learn the program, started to move out of there, and it's just as more resources pop up, become easier to get available. You'll start seeing the ones that are spreading out and doing a lot more unique things than just TF2 crossovers.
Mm-hmm. You're right there. She's right there. We'll make her life easier. Thanks, Rad.
You said that you use Maya.
Yes.
I was trained in 3ds Max, but I want to start using Maya. Are there any tips you could give me for transitioning between one to the other?
It's different. I mean, I've used 3ds Max before back in the day, and then I moved to Blender and Maya. It is a bit different. However, there are ample tutorials. If you already know how to work within 3ds Max and model the fundamentals of 3D, if you already have a sense of understanding in that, you can probably just learn the interface a little bit. Try to learn the interface, and you can probably figure it out pretty easily. Because if you're already working in 3ds Max, you're already working in a complex program. And they're both made by Autodesk. So, yeah.
Okay, you're there. Okay, we're gonna start spreading out. Don't worry. Did we have
How much time do we have before we have to start?
25.
No, we got like 35.
True, but we want to play the video at the end.
25. I did the math for you.
Oh yeah, so line them up.
All right. All right. Just.
We got a full house.
While this question's being asked, you can start lining up here. We'll make your lives easier. Just stand if you want.
Just stay where you want. Everyone else come line up.
Yeah, and I'll pass the mic off over
at me.
Yeah, we'll do that. Line up if you don't want to ask the question.
Back when the Gary's Mod
Please keep
toy
it
box.
nice.
Back when the Gary's Mod toy box was a thing, I released some of my TF2 mods on there, but then the toy box kind of died, and I never got around to re-releasing them. Luckily, other people did, even though no one seems to know that I actually made them anymore. But I noticed that on the Steam Workshop, there's really not a lot of pony up there, and I found a site that's got like dedicated to pony models for SFM, but it's got like nothing on it, and DeviantArt is not exactly easy to search through when you're looking for mods. So what would be the best way to re-release my models?
Right there. The bottom there, there has to be a DeviantArt group, the SFM Ponies group, that we have a resources folder that has like 15. Oh,
DeviantArt account.
Wow.
You could, if you wanted to. There is actually a site called PonySFM.com, run by one of our friends.
Yeah.
And you can submit that there, because we're mostly on DeviantArt, but there also is the PonySFM.com site, and you can submit your model there or whatever, and it'll probably get posted. And if you wanted to release it like that, and we could, I guess, put it on DeviantArt if you have an account.
Yeah, no, he just said he didn't have an account, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's advisable to have DeviantArt, but if not, you could always submit to PonySFM.com.
Yeah,
At least
my
get it there.
suggestion is just well, anything that goes on Pony SFM.
PonySFM.com.
That first was on was on my DeviantArt group, and then was posted up on there as a more easier way to get those resources without. Sorry about that, people. Cellular devices.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Well,
hopefully that
it
answers.
was easier to put it up there for everyone else than going through all the to look for it and everything, to the folders, because the group that I run has already multiple folders, ranging from maps that are specifically designed for Source Filmmaker to resources of characters from the show to OC models from that. The problem is the person who made the site just wanted to make it a whole lot easier for you guys just to find what you need.
So I was curious what you guys all think, in your experience, is the average crashing rate for SFM? Is it like?
It's not Flash, I'll tell you that. Back in the early days of SFM, when Valve first publicly released it, it was kind of crashy, but now, if you know what you're doing, it doesn't crash that often. Just don't have a bajillion models dancing about.
Save every few minutes.
It has an autosave they added.
Yeah, they added
Yeah,
that. It's nice.
It's always good to be very careful and just like every 15 minutes hit control save.
I have my mouse moving about and animating, and then my finger is just like Control S, Control S, Control S. Or, yeah, so.
I mean, sometimes it's hard to get out the groove, but.
My question is, you talked earlier about people making custom models, but what tips would you get to making original models yourself, like non-pony models, and putting them into SFM? How arduous is that process?
You want to do it or me do it?
Depending.
Okay, well, it basically is you have your modeling program, and then you have your exporter to make the SMD files, which is the model files that you use, that get compiled in a compiler, which is the second step, into a source model. It's not as intuitive as just say making in a 3D program and then hitting one button and going sometimes. You have to learn it's not a difficult process, it's just kind of a little bit tedious.
It's time taking.
It's
all it
a little bit tedious, but as soon as you get it and you do it enough times, it's just natural. It doesn't take very long between 3D model and SFM model.
Well, also depending on whether in fact what he means by custom.
Well, yeah, if you're making
if he's like meaning more of a starting out from the very scratch, you have to make up the mesh, then the rig, and then you have to name up those bones, which would find out which one's more compatible with Source Filmmaker and the Half-Life engine. Because if you do it with any other ones, it might not exactly work.
But the bulk may be just in that 3D program that is, anyway.
That'd be different. Huh? Then you would have to export it out using a plugin for Valve's engine, get a compiler, which if you do, it's like right in the game file, like call it a Ben file, and just like scroll down to your Find Studio MDL, and run that through it, drag and drop the QC file to it.
Or just use GUI Studio Modeler and get it set up and be done with it. So
Yeah, sure.
Make it as simple as, don't make it any harder than you have to.
Oh,
When you're doing it, because you can always miss a step, so your process figure it out.
Or you can end up making a breach file and just like quickly just doing it.
In the end, it's not even animation software, it's an animation software running on a game's engine. So it still has to load the models in like it was on a game.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of extra work, but sometimes usually also makes things a little easier as well. So.
Next one.
Hi guys.
Hey. Howdy.
Okay, two things. A, I don't know why, but you remind me of Penn Jillette. Sorry, I gotta get it out there.
Yeah, enjoy. Yeah.
Sorry about that. And B, have you guys ever gotten requests? And if so, what was the favorite ones that you worked on?
A request that I liked to work on. Like a poster or a video or what? Anything. I don't really have anything like commissions or requests, but I did do one which was kind of silly. Someone was like, "Hey, you should have a poster of Mike the Microphone trying to steal the intel from the base, and then Applejack as an engineer having a bajillion sentries, and he just turns around, oh look, there they all are, and Tombstone in the background face palming." So I'm just like, okay, this is crazy enough. Let's do it. All right. And then I gave it to him. He's like, oh, I love it. Thank you. So it was fun. It was crazy to work on.
For me, the Twinash video was actually a request. It was a 5-second request that I asked him, can I do a 3-minute video instead? So took his idea and kind of melded it with mine. So that technically was a request, and that was a lot of fun to do.
I usually don't do requests or commissions. Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah, because most of the time it's just.
God, how many requests do I get a day? It's
make me a model, make me a 20-minute.
He has high output though. So
make my own C-plots.
Yes. It's normally when people ask me for requests and stuff, they mostly just ask for model of something from the show and stuff like that, and that typically would take me probably up to 5 minutes to an hour, depending on the quality of it.
Yeah.
But I used to take commissions for models, but then I stopped because everyone and their grandmother was wanting a model, and it was like, no more.
I usually don't take model requests unless it's within what I'm interested in and I have time to do it, because I work a full-time job plus other things on top of modeling and everything else. My favorite request so far has been actually from BeardedDoomGuy here recently, because he asked me to he made the BronyCon mascot models, and he wanted me to make a preview image. He didn't expect me to make any models or anything, just make a simple preview image, but it gave me a challenge for about a month and a half to make the DJ controller. And I love that because it challenged me to go out there and learn processes and how to do stuff to make myself better. So
actually, that's funny because I guess you requested me to make those DJ the BronyCon mascots.
Who?
I'll give you a hint. He's in front.
Hi.
Oh yeah.
They were requested by Adam prior to like 3 months before the con even started because he had informed me that was trying to get a panel and.
When I do a request, I try to go over the top because when I do something for somebody, I want it to be the best I can. That's why I usually don't have time, is because I'm spending so much time on a request. But yeah.
Okay, I think we're done here. Let's go to the next question.
Sorry.
Have you ever considered making a TF2 animation and entering for the Saxy Awards?
This year the Saxies are in
September, I think.
Yeah, September. Usually they're in November. The Saxy Awards is when people take SFM video using Valve assets, or if they're able to get the copyright permissions, other people's assets, such as, let's say, Ponies. I tried to do that during the first annual Saxies with Colgate's Shiny Teeth in Me. Yeah, I didn't. Hasbro said no. But after that, I was just like, I don't want to focus on Saxies. I just like to make my own content and have everyone look at it, and it's like, oh, that's okay, I guess.
Because Golden Saxton Hale in your inventory doesn't look that good.
Yeah, I had actually wanted to. I planned to try to make something for this last one, but then they shortened their time frame to work on things, and I just got way too many other projects started, so I just kind of said, nah, maybe next year. But I did think it would be something interesting to try because I haven't actually worked with bipedals before, so.
Bipedals?
Two light things. Is that? Thanks for the visual.
Yeah, I tried making something for last year's Saxies, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. But I'm going to try again this year.
I never entered the Saxy because, again, pony stuff and Valve's engine and stuff less that you would generally get copyrighted by Hasbro and therefore most likely shut down. Features that Hasbro most likely do.
Even though I don't think the general SFM community
would really like that.
Yeah, so you literally have no chance.
They would call heresy on you, burn you alive like a witch.
As for me, I really don't do SFM other than ponies. I don't really care for TF. I love TF2. I love playing TF2, but there's just so much TF2 SFM that the marketplace for me is kind of too crowded. So I don't even bother with Saxies.
Yeah, no.
So like Gary's mod videos tend to have can be very hyperactive, they're constantly jittering around.
Yeah.
Is it possible to use Source Filmmaker to make a similar,
Somebody did that.
hyperactivity?
Somebody did that during last year's Saxies, and it came out really hilarious. It was heavy, just going crazy, and Sniper doing silly stuff, and it was that's how most Gmod videos are. But yeah, you can do that with SFM. Just instead of having fluid motions, it's just oh, he's like this, and then next you just make it one frame after. It's yo, and it's what happened in between? Oh. Well, that's Gary's mod. It's a stylized.
That one, those kind of videos, I seriously would leave the Gmodders because those ones are always the funniest. If you try to do it in Source Filmmaker,
it takes a mindset.
No. Source Filmmaker is way too serious to do silly stuff.
Yeah, I would say that.
You just leave that to the Gmodders, like Inverted Shadow and all them. Let them do their silly videos with their Gmod, the way they always have done it.
Plus, SFM doesn't have built-in physics. So if you're trying to throw a model around to make a ragdoll, it doesn't really work.
Oh, you'd have to animate that model being
Source Filmmaker doesn't require a physics.
So most physics that you see, unless they were pre-built on some model, are actually simulated to a degree. There was a script that did exist that allowed simulations of physics, but it broke when they updated SFM at one point, so we can't use it right now. So yeah, if you see something bouncing across the ground, it's probably somebody animated it to look like that.
So I remember hearing you say earlier that through the files of TF2 you could find an early prototype of Source Filmmaker. Have any of you had an experience with that early prototype?
No.
Oh.
It was horrendous.
I tried
Yeah,
to use
the
it, but it didn't really work.
Yeah, I think
I heard of SFM the month it came out, like in June of 2012, July, like that.
Yeah, July.
So I didn't even know there was a pre or an alpha version of it until later on. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna get the better version. So.
Yeah, I tried to use it, but I couldn't figure it out. They look completely different.
I just got the beta just to see what content was on it that would never be added on to the other ones.
Technically, Source Filmmaker is still beta, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was out of the beta phase.
It's Valve. They'll keep it in
0.9 point whatever. It's not a full version.
Oh wow, it's just like Warframe.
All right.
Always in a beta.
Like Gmail.
Okay, two things. The video you were referring to 2 people ago, was that Ethiomod's first 30 minutes on SFM?
I don't know.
Not by name.
Ethiomod's amazing though. He's really great. His stuff, I love it.
Okay, now for the real reason why I'm up here.
Okay.
What kind of computers do you guys use to run SFM? Because I have it myself, but I don't use it because my POS laptop can't run it.
Oh.
Well, it's a really graphic card intensive piece of software. So if you have a good processor, it's not going to help you too much. It's going to really rely on your graphics card because again, it's running as a game. After that like slow reverse pip one, it was like 120-hour render for some. At one point, I was like, hell no. So I ended up getting a new graphics card that actually helped a lot. But I got an 8-core processor and I didn't see any changes. So it's a lot of it is having a good graphics card, and there's also settings for like disabling lighting, disabling some of the settings. You can keeping it at a 720 preview screen. Doing some of that, you can really drop down to keep the frame rate at an adjustable level. Even anything I do, I keep the lighting off and everything off, and I just turn out the end, so I'm working at a good frame rate. Yeah, I built my own, so.
Yeah, same.
Actually, I got a question for you there. Did you make that hat?
Yes, I did.
It's really cool.
I will trade you 2 refined for it.
I want that hat.
By the way, I'm the only one in SFM that actually uses a Mac for SFM sometimes.
Trainer.
People ask me how. I tell them boot camp and when I'm mobile, like right now when I'm out of the con. So otherwise, it's just a 5-year-old desktop PC. So,
yeah. Macs are very mobile.
Yeah.
This is one of the most
just like Apple's.
One of the most
Redneck Bro 660.
nervous moments of my life.
Don't be nervous.
I'm so cute.
I didn't mean it like that.
I have a question. Have you ever just gone to Gmod and said, I'm going to make something really stupid and just not put it on the internet?
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, most of my stuff I never put on the internet.
I went on Gmod and put stupid stuff on the internet.
Well, even with SFM, I love doing very serious stuff, but it's draining to stay serious.
Hi,
so
Elizabeth.
I make a lot of stupid stuff on the
like
side.
the desktop you got there.
Or the desktop, or that Pinky playing drums thing.
Oh my god.
That was just like something that I just was attaching models to a zombie from Half-Life and then watching it crawl a wall. That is the scariest Pinkie Pie you'll ever see.
Oh god, that picture was Spike.
The Spike. I think it's on my Dropbox.
I actually have that picture saved. You sent me that.
Yes.
Oh god.
Or
scary.
Discord flicking off the screen. I like that one too.
Yeah.
But I like doing a mix, and sometimes it's like you got to do something stupid to actually do something serious. You got to have a sense of humor and open mind.
It's good to mesh around with.
Most of the random stuff I make ends up just being released publicly, no matter what. Like the most randomest thing I made was that Everfree Vines. That was like the most randomest I've ever came up with. I was like, no, I'm just gonna make those vines from that
season 4.
For the beginning of wait, was it the finale or the beginning?
The beginning
of season 4. I'm like, I'm just gonna
like,
randomly make these and see what happens. Just make it, post it, release it.
Another quick question, not exactly to you, but who the heck is doing this squeaking sound of Fluttershy in here? I've been hearing it the whole time.
Max, squeak, squeak. It's your toy. Give me that. It's stress reliever. Wait for that. I killed it. Oh, no. Well, there goes our source of entertainment.
How often have you been doing like
Thank
you come into SFM thinking you're gonna make a 2-minute video and then you realize it's 8 minutes long?
Wait, what?
Like, have you ever started a video you were gonna make for only like a minute or two long video, and it's 8 minutes and you realize you have to cut a bunch of stuff out?
I mean, if you got the audio, like with the radio play, if you got the audio already, then I mean, there's not much to cut because you want to go with what the audio you've chosen. Anything that I've worked on, I haven't really cut short to what I know. But when I'm in SFM, I'm like in a different state. I'm like, oh, I'm doing this right now. Let's focus. And then it's like, what do you mean it's been 8 hours? So, yeah.
Almost anything I've ever done has ended up being longer than I originally anticipated. That's why I ended up trying to now set up where I'm cutting up scenes and pre-planning it ahead of time so I don't overdo it. That's why, like with the radio play, it was really nice. I mean, they even offered to edit it slightly, and I'm like, no, please
well,
don't.
you already have a time limit there. It's just like you already have your block of time. You know animate within. Otherwise, you just create the audio afterwards to match your video. But.
Next one.
Hello. I want to thank you for coming out here to BronyCon. I never thought someone would actually come here with SFM.
Well, we're glad that you're all here because,
Yes, very glad. Very glad.
We're glad to be here too.
But my actual question, what SFM, since you make short films and whatnot, I know that there's a limitation of the light sources and on-screen objects, so do you just keep making new projects, new project files like scene 1, scene 1A, then 2, or do you just try to fit it all?
I kind of do, like the one over there. I actually have 2 different files for it because it's 2 different maps, and I just transition between them. But the other is, if you have a big scene that you built, if it's not on camera, delete it. You don't need to show it. That's like, I did the entire scene build myself, every model, so as soon as I was done, I just went through and erased everything that wasn't showing. So every shot was only like 5 or 6 models. But the scene build, I have one that's just this giant one that the frame rate's at like 2 trying to view. So you don't really need to split it into separate project files, but do know that it's going to take forever to load it if you have a really, really complicated scene build with like 100 scenes. But yeah, it's every time you split a shot, it's a duplicate of that entire map. So it can get a little complicated in that, but it's just over time you kind of learn to play around with that stuff.
Yeah.
First of all, let me just say I love the balloonicorn you got there. Second of all, what is your personal opinion on the expiration date video, and have you learned anything that can, like have you gotten anything from that video? Have you taken anything or worked with it at all, or just,
Well, I learned not to teleport bread.
Oh yeah. Oh, here's another one. Never be soldier.
I have an
Never
appreciation for buckets.
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, what I got out of it really was I study the cinematography and the lights and how everything's presented. I like seeing that coming from Valve because they, like I said, they're professional animators, so I get to see how they do it and learn how to do it myself. That it's a good refresh, I think, for me.
When I saw that fabric drop, I'm like, wait, they have vertex animation now? Where is that coming from?
There's another one. This is what I learned from it. I can make a death watch. No, I kid you not. I made a death watch. Because since the model was never released publicly, I decided, I'm going to try my hand at making one. I made one, and so far, I'm still getting a lot of people testing it out.
Yeah. I did something based off the expiration date short when Spy was just like, seduce me.
Seduce me.
I did a talk dirty to me with talk seduce to me. So. Yeah, I heard the audio on Tumblr, so I was like, I want to animate that. So I gave Sniper the saxophone. So that was really fun to work on, a little small 14-second project, but it was really fun and great to just change things up a bit with a comedy after working on the Fallout video for so long.
But it's actually 10 minutes to the end, so if you guys have any questions, you can ask afterwards. Sorry about that.
You also ask us on the DeviantArt group
Yes.
Or anywhere, or Twitter or whatever. We'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
Yes.
So don't feel left out.
Don't be shy. Ask. We do not bite.
You do, but I don't.
Okay, I will admit I do not bite, but there's something else.
No, before that, anyways, I did want to say though that well, you guys love animation, you love seeing things move. I'm not a modeler. I don't model. I use the resources that they make, and they don't get really any credit for it. And so I think you should give them a round of applause for what they do.
You're making me blush.
All praise to God. All praise to God. Praise me.
All hail me.
All hail me.
If you got a DeviantArt, you know, all the modelers that are posting on DeviantArt, I mean, they could use some love as well.
Oh yeah, they can all use it.
Yeah.
If we actually take that and use it as motivation to get more done. Because a lot of people just, when it comes to seeing it, they just use it. And once in a while, we feel that no one is using it. Because like no one ever like says like, good job or something like that. And then like months, like weeks later, we actually see people start using that. And actually for some magical reason, start like posting comments saying good job and everything. That turns into real motivation to start getting more models done.
For me, it's a tertiary benefit. I just like making things, so like making things. And if y'all like it, that's more to it. So
yeah, like that.
That's it. Video started.
Basically, motivate your modelers.
Anyways, so who here has read the Fallout book? The Fallout, Equestria? Oh, wow.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Who here
Looks
has
like you're
listened
not
to the radio
alone.
play?
If you haven't, I do recommend it.
There we go.
The Equestrian Broadcasting Company has done a radio play of it, where they are actually going through the entire book, which is a daunting process, being as long as it is. And they're doing all the audio professionally done radio play using for the book. And when I heard it, I thought it was awesome, and I wanted to try to make something to practice cinematography and lighting. So I started in February and been working on it on and off till a week and a half ago. And I don't know if you saw the trailer that I put up for it before. That I think it turned out better than the final. But to give context, if you ever read the book, The World Destroyed, and by Mega Spells, Between a War Between Zebras and Ponies. And the stables are the only safe place. And so the story begins where Little Pip is in the stable, and she has her, one of the people that lives there, Velvet Remedy, escapes. And in escaping, she's kind of blamed for it because she's the one that removed her pip buck, which was a kind of a locator and computer on her leg. And so once everybody gets angry, she's told to go back to her room. And that's where I started animating. And this is the end of the radio play, so it's basically Pip leaving the stable. So,
enjoy.
It'll be good.
Let's go.
Yeah. Just fix that. Okay, there we go.
This is going
Oh, how could I let this happen? The ponies are right to hate me. I'm the one who let Velvet get away. Velvet, why? Why did you go?
On the Pip-Buck radio, the Overmare's reassuring voice is heard.
We are all feeling this loss. But I want to remind every pony that Velvet Remedy chose to do this. She chose to leave her home, to abandon us, her family. She betrayed my trust and she betrayed yours. Just as she betrayed the trust of the pony who she tricked into removing her pit buck, ensuring we could not find her. I know many of you are angry or hurt. I urge you to direct that anger where it truly belongs.
It is then that an encrypted file in Velvet's Pip-Buck catches Little Pip's eye.
What the? It's an audio recording. Maybe it's one of Velvet's new songs?
The override code for opening the door to Stable 2 is CNC3BFF.
The stable door override code? Where did Velvet get this? And why? I'm not sure what's going on or why, Velvet, but I'm sure of what I'm going to do.
The decision was made, there and then, to leave the stable and find Velvet. To leave the stable that no pony had ever left before.
Final check. Apples, water, extra stable barding, Book of Arcane Sciences, all set and ready to go.
The time arrives. Little Pip, with supplies on hoof and of set mind, faces the massive door that separates Stable 2 from the outside. What stands between Little Pip and the door's control panels are 2 Earth Pony guards.
Excuse me, if you would let me by.
This point is off limits. No exceptions.
Here's hoping my little speech is good enough to get me through. I'm a certified stable tech technician. The Overmare has specifically requested that I check that the stable door panel is working correctly.
Prove it.
Didn't think so. Now beat it this week.
Apparently not. Time for plan B.
Hey, aren't you the filly who let our Velvet get lost outside anyway?
Why, yes. Yes, I am. And I'm also the one who's gonna bring her back. Oh, Earth Ponies. They never see that levitating something up behind you trick coming. Alright, now to business. CMC 3BFF. Please work, please work, please work!
Stop! I order you to stop this instant! Guards! I want every guard pony at stable 2 door! Stop that filly!
Oh, crap! Here goes! It's time.
You don't have to do this! Little Pip, isn't it?
Overmare. I'll bring her back. I promise.
No, you won't! If you leave here, you'll never be let back in!
Now or never.
I'm not stepping up there! Quick, seal the door!
With a hiss and a bang, Stable 2's door closes irrevocably behind Little Pip.
I can't see a damn thing.
The hallway is filled with the skeletons of ponies that had died desperately trying to get into the stable, as the land of Equestria was burned alive.
Celestia's mercy.
The light of the Pip-Buck lamp reveals a cellar door that leads to the outside world.
So the entrance to the outside is cleverly disguised as the door to a humble apple cellar, because the pony who had built it had been building an apple cellar. Sounds legit.
And with that, Little Pip threw open the cellar door and took her first steps into the outside world.
Dark! Oh, it's so dark! I should have thought this through better. Some pony save me! Okay. Get a hold of yourself, Pip. You can do this. But why do I have to be alone? I hate being all alone. It's me from here on out.
I'm sorry. That'll be up on YouTube in like a week, and it's actually recorded in 4K. And I have some little special things added at the end too. So.
You're gonna love them. I was. It's just so good.
By the way, if you
never
can tell, that was
expect
no
it.
whacking. So.
Yeah, that was no whacking as a Little Pip. So.
Yeah, fantastic.
But thanks for coming. So.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Have a good day, and whatever the rest of you do. Bye-bye.